everyone. I'm Kim Shively,
And I'm Kevin Otis.
and we wrote the book Applied Meisner for the 21st Century Actor. And we are here talking because of COVID. We haven't been able to film the supplemental videos that we were hoping to for the website. And so in their place, these are little placeholders where we can talk about the principles that you will be seeing when we can have actors in the room unmasked safely, engaging with the exercises from the book. So in the meantime, this video is to supplement what you are reading as you work through the book. And of course, feel free to visit our website, www.21CActor.com. So Kevin, I want to talk about the definition of acting. Can we do
Yeah.
that?
Oh, happy to. I love talking about the definition of acting because it helps us understand what acting is and what it is not. And this helps the actor keep their attention on things that can help their acting, all right, rather than getting distracted by notions that seem like acting but aren't really acting or can actually distract us and make our performance worse. So, as you know, Kim, the definition we use in our book is Sandy Meisner's definition that acting is living truthfully under imaginary circumstances.
Yeah. And so can we break it down? I love the way you break this down when you teach it. When we teach at our institution, where we teach BFA actors, in the really the first day of acting class, you get out the definition and then you break it down. So let's just start with the first word, living. Can you talk about
Yeah,
living?
yes, happy to. So, acting is living, and there's been lots of books written about living, but for an actor, the most useful thing to keep in mind is that acting, living, is to experience the push and pull of individual moments. So, when we're listening to another person and we're hearing what they're saying from a deep place, and we're responding from an equally deep place, then we can say we're living, we're experiencing the push and pull of each individual moment.
Excellent. And then the next word, truthfully. Why is truthfully important?
Yeah, well, truthfully is very important, and it's one of the things that makes living on stage sometimes a lot different than living in our everyday life. But there's like overt lying, but then there's also like subtle lying, in the sense of like withholding truth. And so I think for actors, when we're training, and acting, it's important for us to know that living truthfully means that we are not withholding our truth. We're not editing ourselves for the sake of politeness or out of a fear of conflict. Um, Usually on stage, we care enough about the other character that we need to tell them the truth, even if it's difficult truth. And so that's what we mean by living truthfully.
And the next word, under.
Under, yeah, yeah, and I love this word under. And what we talk about in the book, right, is that under implies pressure. And because the stories we see on stage and screen are written about the day something happens, a moment of crisis in a person's life, we feel like we are under the pressure of that situation. And that's why we love the word under, because it implies pressure from a stage-worthy story the day something happens.
And finally, the imaginary circumstances.
Yes.
Why imaginary circumstances?
Well, yeah, it's important to know that when we're doing this, that when we're acting, it's not real life, right? These are imaginary circumstances. They're often more intense than what we experience, at least on a regular basis, in our everyday life. But the important thing for actors to remember when dealing with imaginary circumstances is that we have a fundamental choice. We can either engage with the imaginary circumstances in a way that makes us care more or in a way that makes us care less. And for actors, we got to go in the direction that makes us care more. Now, in life, we've sometimes learned how to care less because it helps us cope with, all the news that we're bombarded with a lot. And that can be useful, but we want to make sure that we're not taking that life strategy of coping with difficult news and applying it to our acting unintentionally. So we need to be very intentional in working with the imaginary circumstances in a way that deepens our connection to them, that helps us care more.
So you've talked about what acting is.
Yeah,
Now let's talk about what acting is not.
that's so important to bring up because acting is living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. It's useful to notice in that definition words that are not there. There is no mention of the word character or entertainer or performing or transforming or emotion, right? Um, and those words that I just mentioned, those are things that can distract us from the core purpose of acting. And so it's helpful to, remind us of the rules of the game, right? That it's like my job as an actor is to live truthfully under these imaginary circumstances.
And something we're often telling our students is we're training you to be actors,
Yeah.
not emoters, not
Mhm.
performers. And it's not that there is anything inherently bad about any of those things, but it's outside of our definition of acting. And that's our main focus.
Absolutely.
All right. I love this definition. I love the way you break it down. And if you want to learn more about how we talk about acting, you can follow us on our social media, 21C Actor Insta on Instagram and 21C Actor on Facebook. And what do we say, Kevin?
We say do it for real.
Do it for real, everyone.